Hey there and good afternoon traders. This is Trader Tim from eminimind.com. I'm going to take a look at the markets. Today is Monday, December 11th, 2017, and we are coming into the end of the year. This week we are in the midst of futures rollover, meaning if I pull up the chart, we have the volume on the futures contracts moving to the March contract or the next month if it's not a typical HMUZ, March, June, September, December. But in our case with the ES, we've got volume transferring from the December contract into the March contract on Friday. And so this week, now we've got both contracts trading. The March contract is now the front month where more volume is taking place. And then the December contract will expire Friday along with options expiration. But it can be a little bit funky this this period of rollover. You obviously want to make sure that if you're using a separate DOM, that your charts are on the same contract, and you want to make sure that you're trading in the March contract. That's where more of the volume is going to be. So it happens 4 times a year, and this week can be a little bit challenging, or just you'll see some sometimes you'll see some funky things happening with price just because people are split between the two contracts, even though the next contract, in this case the March, is now the front month with more volume. So keep that in mind. Wednesday, we've got a big day with the FOMC meeting announcement, the press conference. So Wednesday will be a very big day. I would definitely be treading lightly in the morning, and then Thursday and Friday, more typical with jobless claims, retail sales, industrial production. So kind of the typical numbers that we'd see in the second week. As we inch here, today's Monday afternoon, as we inch towards the all-time high again in the S&P, bouncing off of the 2607 50% retracement that we've pulled back to. You can see the trend line here that I still have left on my chart. Came down, tagged the trend line, rallied a little bit, came down again, didn't quite touch it the second time here, but this trend line acting as a strong support. The target 2680s is what I'm looking for in the E-mini S&P. Today there were a couple of good little opportunities here. If we just look at the 512 tick chart, always wanting to make sure we're taking out a swing high before getting into either the first setup, the second setup, and sometimes even a third or fourth can be lower risk. We want to stay away from trying to chase the market at highs. If you get into a situation where the market is starting to break out, at least wait for a pullback to a 50% retracement. Let the breakout happen, and then on the pullback, look for an entry. In some cases, I will look to buy the breakout itself. So using a buy stop 1 tick above highs or a sell stop 1 tick below lows, in anticipation that if we break through, and there is momentum, then that momentum should continue through the new highs. But I'm always using a tight stop. So if we do just kind of break through by a couple ticks and then roll over, then I'm out of the trade, and it's not really a big deal. And you can look for trades in the opposite direction if the market starts to sell off hard. We've got kind of this cup forming across the board. Actually, I'll go to a SPY chart. You can see a little bit clearer. The trend line here on the SPY, you can see how we were tagging along the top of the trend line, and now we're tagging along the underside of the trend line. And in this cup right here, kind of a very pivotal week. which, tomorrow may be quiet leading up to the FOMC meeting announcement, then Wednesday kind of the all the bells and whistles, the fireworks happen if something gets announced that is um, you know big, so to speak. But if we look at the volume that we have here, we've been moving in this cup pattern, pulling back and then now rallying. Not really what I would call a V reversal, but the cup, a rounded bottom. And volume has stayed pretty steady in the S&P, but in the Dow, it's slumped off a little bit. Increasing volume in the move up, a decrease in volume on the move down, but still strong volume on the two down days here, and then very weak volume on the up days. So uh, going into the end of the year, there's there's a lot to be taking into consideration, but we always want to be protecting our account, protecting our risk first, and so not putting on any you know major bet the farm kind of trades at the end of the year, or ever really. I mean, if you're investing in things like the cryptocurrencies, Bitcoin and things like that, you know, even if you were buying it 5 years ago, chances are you're probably not putting everything you own into that one investment, that one speculative trade, that one startup, that one new business idea. It's good to kind of balance your investments and where you place your money. So as we head into this week, tomorrow, it could be a mixed bag. A lot of times we'll see sort of this doji pattern to close out the day on a Tuesday before an FOMC meeting announcement. We'll be doing a live trading session, so you can tune in the morning. Just shoot over to eminimind.com/VIP to check that out, and you can follow along as we narrate the markets, take some trades, and see what we get in the morning. I'll also be pushing out some kind of end of year goals and exercises that I do as a way to kind of recap and then get ready for the next year. Um, and lastly, with all of this hype around Bitcoin, the Bitcoin futures being rolled out, not really much I'm anticipating there right away, but you know continue to focus just like you would in your trading if you're going to be buying some of these other currencies. For example, like I own Litecoin and Ethereum as well as Bitcoin. I've owned them for a while now. They're still at very cheap prices compared to Bitcoin, but you also want to be smart with your money and not putting all your chips on the table. Buying Bitcoin here, it's currently a little over 17,000. So being smart, don't feel like if you don't own any, you have to chase it and you have to jump in. There's a lot of spammy marketing that's coming out now around the cryptocurrencies and things like that. So, and if you do own it, it's okay to take profits on the way up. I've owned Bitcoin since right about the $200 mark. I sold a little bit at 2,000. I sold a little bit at 10,000, and I've still got a good chunk now at 17,000. So, just kind of that same philosophy that we use in trading, putting on a position and then scaling out on the way up at good quality reward to risk points. That's the same way I view things, the same way I view some of these speculative trades in things like the cryptocurrencies. So, it's helpful to own a little bit of a speculative investment because if nothing happens, well, you're not out much. And if it 100x's itself, well, that could have an impact in your life, in your bottom line. So just some things to keep in mind as as you kind of immerse yourself or kind of see a lot of the media that's coming out around Bitcoin. By no means am I encouraging folks to just jump in and sell the house and buy the cryptocurrencies or anything like that. So play smart and remember to stay focused on the objective. And you know, there's always going to be these mediums or investments that get hyped or that turn into these big rises and catch media attention. And, you know, we're going to have another stock market downturn, and there's going to be another great opportunity to buy strong stocks at discounted prices. And so if you just keep that in the back of your mind, you keep chugging along year after year. You know, I've been at this for quite a while now, and been trading successfully through up markets, down markets, sideways markets. And the one thing that I know, you know, is certain is that, you know, there's going to be more up markets, down markets, and sideways markets. So if you can just continue to plug away and develop the skills, there's going to be opportunities to capitalize if you develop the skills. If you just try and, you know, go all in on one trade, the chances of blowing up your account and not being around during the good times is much greater. So I wish everyone a good week of trading. Happy holidays to all as we get into the end of the year here. Live trading tomorrow morning, emoneymind.com, and I hope to see you there. Thanks, and have a great week.